Hey everyone, welcome to the FilmIn5D podcast, episode 10. We made it all the way to 10.
Yay.
We got like 42 more to go to make it to that'd actually be 2 years at that point.
Wow.
I say the goal's 30. We can go to 30, that'd be pretty good. That'd be like a year. A lot going on this weekend, and we're filming this on a Friday. We've got Comic-Con this weekend, you're going. I might stop by. What the heck
my
is-
gosh. Technical issues.
Whoa.
You heard it here, folks.
Yep, we got the TV going off and stuff, but we're all good. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Comic-Con. Let me just do the rundown real quick. First, we're gonna talk about what came out this and last week, mostly last week. We're gonna talk about some news and rumors from Canon.
Oh.
We're gonna skip a tutorial this week, and maybe even in future weeks, and we're gonna play a game of Do You Even Film Bro? And I think we have your score. We'll remind everybody of what your score is. And then you're going to talk about light, focusing, post-focusing features, kind of a thing. We'll see if it's feasible for professionals. And then finally, we're going to talk about Comic-Con. If we're going this weekend, we obviously live in San Diego, so we have the pleasure of being able to go every year if we choose. I was supposed to go today. It didn't happen, so I might try to make it for the Walking Dead run if they do it.
What, the run?
Yeah.
But isn't it called the Walking Dead?
The Walking Dead, I don't know, you run from the Walking Dead. Of course, the zombies cheat every year and run after you, even though they're only supposed to walk. Anyways, quote of the week. Oh man, I can't even read my own writing.
Is that the quote? That's weird. I don't know about that.
The unknown future rolls towards us. I face it for the first time with a sense of hope. Because if a machine, a Terminator, can learn the value of human life, maybe we can too. What movie is that from?
Is it like iRobot or something?
Come
I don't know,
on.
that Terminator part, I don't know. That's weird. What movie uses the word Terminator? It's strange to me. Like, what is
Just
a
guess,
Terminator?
because I don't even think you're going to get it right.
It's not Terminator?
It is Terminator, but which one?
Were there like 3 Terminators or something like that?
There's been 5 Terminators,
5. Wow.
and this one happened to be the best one. It was also the last good one that was made, in my opinion.
Terminator 2.
Terminator Judgment Day. That was Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor saying that at a voiceover when Arnold Schwarzenegger was playing with her little boy.
Well, I'm kind of interested about the newest Terminator.
We're going to talk about that right now. Okay, let's get into it. So what came out this week? We're on Rotten Tomatoes right now, as always. What came out this week?
Minions.
Pretty bad for, a spin-off type movie from a movie that did so well. 66% like it. I think it's pretty surprising. This isn't a Pixar. It's Universal Pictures. I mean, obviously they did the one with Steve Carell. What was it called?
Despicable Me.
Despicable Me and Despicable Me 2, I believe, which were both pretty good.
Well, okay, so I know we have the precedent for like sequels, but what about spin-offs? Do they do well, or?
Not usually, and that's why I think everybody's a little bit scared for these Star Wars spin-offs that are about to happen. They're doing one every year between the episodes, and Rogue One's the first one been announced. It has Felicity Jones, who's one of my favorite in it. Everybody's a little worried that these movies might be a little too much. It's like a cash grab almost. It's like, so I thought it looked funny. I mean, and then we got other movies, Selfless and stupid movies coming out. But one thing I did want to mention was last week, Terminator Genesis came out.
Oh.
Number 5. I have to tell you, when I saw the trailer and I saw who was in it, I saw Emilia Clarke, I saw the other Clarke, what's his name from Planet of the Apes? What was Jason Clarke, Jai Courtney, who everybody loves to hate on. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger was back. He wasn't in the 4th one, and he's in this one. Well, he's technically in the 4th one as like a CGI double or whatever, because he was actually the Governator at the time. But yeah, after the fourth one, most people assumed that they wouldn't make another one. And this is what they made. This was the reclamation project. This was going back and playing on the nostalgia of the original movies and the fans and everything. And it failed. It got a 27%, which is, by the way, worse than the fourth one. The fourth one, which had at least good acting. Christian Bale was in it.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Worthington, who people love to hate on, but I actually enjoy, was in it. And that one got 33% just because it was a pretty terrible story. But I like the special effects in it and stuff. Like this one, I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to go pay money to see this. Like, it gets bad reviews on this, and it's just going to convince them to pay more and more. So.
That's sad.
Yeah, and I even have a picture right here. It's actually, I had a picture. The picture I took had Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World winning for the. No, this is the wrong one. That's the wrong picture, whatever. So Jurassic Park almost won again for the fourth straight week. It actually narrowly lost to Inside Out. Inside Out finally took it out by less than $500,000. And Genesis, the opening weekend, got third. Didn't even win. I mean, this movie's not even going to make its budget back. I'm assuming the budget of this movie was over $100 million. It's not even going to make that back. At least domestic, which is really what counts. It's made $42 million at the box office so far, and obviously bad word of mouth is out there now. It's not going to get another $50 million. Whatever it's made for this first week is pretty much what it's going to stand at.
That's sad. I thought the trailers were cool. I thought it was going to be interesting.
When I saw it, I knew that there was something off. I had hope, because I was hoping, like, yeah, let's make up for number 4. I think that's what everybody was thinking. But then, like, more and more trailers came out. And what did they do in the final trailer? Did you see the trailer? Did you realize the mistake that they made?
They revealed the entire plot.
They revealed the entire plot. They revealed the twist of John Connor being a Terminator, a robot. And it was like, and not only that, they basically.
What?
Yes.
What?
Shut up. You knew that.
No, I did not.
Well, then what twist ending? What plot were you talking about?
I didn't see the trailer. I just assumed they ruined the whole plot because they do that.
Yeah, well, that was a good
trailers.
guess because they showed that John Connor comes back and actually isn't even a human. And it's like that seems like that would be the pretty big twist of the movie, like the climax of the movie, that moment. And it's like, nope, they showed it in the trailer. They just show too much in trailers nowadays. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I usually try to avoid them, but I feel like I have to know about the trailers because I have to know what's going on so I could talk about it. So yeah, that's pretty disturbing. And sad, even more terrible is that this is a 3-movie deal that I believe Emilia Clarke has signed on to. So, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they're going to make 2 more of these movies.
Wow.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger's old, and I heard he's still the best part of the movie, but he's just old, and it's all like his old one-liners that they're just rehashing, and it's just like they basically are doing the plot of the very first Terminator. Did you see that one?
Oh yeah.
Where he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And they did that plot, except the twist on it was that Sarah Connor isn't the fish out of water anymore. She already knows everything that's going on, and like whatever, she knows the whole situation, and Kyle Reese gets sent back when she already knows everything, and it's like that's like the twist on it. It's like, why they even go back to that? I think Sarah Connor is like one of the most lovable characters of the franchise, so maybe that's why. And they wanted a strong female lead, like we've been talking about, but man,
I just want to say, if Arnold didn't say I came back in the movie, they missed a great opportunity there.
I'm sure he did. And he said, I'll be back, and he said, hasta la vista, baby. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he didn't say that. So yeah, that's what came out and what's going on.
Wait,
Magic Mike also came out, and it only got 4th. That's actually pretty surprising. I mean, that's a sequel right there. And the first one was pretty good. And I mean, that's obviously a huge female audience for that movie.
I know. Didn't they just like legalize?
Yes. But this is an R-rated movie, and it's really targeted at females. So that's what, one quadrant, and that one quadrant is going to bring 20% of their significant others, maybe drag them along. So maybe that's why it failed. Maybe, I mean, this looks like it generally wasn't the best weekend for movies. I think everybody was partying 4th of July. Nobody was going to the movie theater. I didn't even think about going.
Wait, why do they have Gabriel Iglesias in this movie?
In what movie?
He's not a hot hunk in Magic Mike.
Everybody's a hot hunk in Magic Mike.
No, but he's like that chubby comedian.
I know.
Who does that voice?
It clearly wasn't, one of those parts or something. Anyways, let's move on. We're just talking about silly stuff right now. News and rumors. Not much going on this week. I had to do some digging. But I did find one thing on Sony Alpha rumors that was just trashing on Canon. It wasn't even a test that they did. It was just a test that DxO Mark does. These are very scientific tests that they do in labs to check the sensors. This is a sensor test.
Yeah.
We're looking at this right now. I'm going to go ahead and show you so you can't be biased or whatever. So these are the three. These are three of the main camera brands. We got Canon, Nikon, Sony. Panasonic wasn't even invited to the party. Sorry, you're too young. But look at these scores. Now, so I say the Sony A7R. Let me just preface this by saying, for those who are listening, this is the A7R 1, the one that came out over a year ago. One, not Mark II, not the Mark II that everybody's so crazy about, that I'm so crazy about. One, and it's still beating the 5DS, which just came out, which is double the price and almost double the megapixels. And the overall score is at 87 for the 5DS, 97 for the Nikon, which is this is their D810, which is their top of the line. These are all full frame, and then the Sony A7R, which is the highest current megapixel alpha line for the full frame, is 95. So these are pretty close. And you look down here at the color depth and the landscape, and they're all pretty close in terms of dynamic range and low light sensitivity and all that stuff. The 5DS is losing in every single category by a lot. And this is something that's supposed to be having this great dynamic range for landscapes. I mean, this is a landscape camera. And you really want that. And you want the sky to be nice and exposed with the grass and the dark trees and the shade. You want everything to be perfectly even so that you can adjust it with raw editing later. And this is getting the worst scores, and this camera is way more expensive than either of these. Actually, I'm going to look up the price of the D810 because I'm not exactly sure about that. But what do you think about those scores? That's pretty sad. The A7R2 is going to blow all those scores, so just so you know.
I mean, what I have to say to that is, if it's not Canon, it's crap.
No. We're not fighting. We're not playing the little Canon versus Sony game anymore. What do you think of that? That's pretty embarrassing. So this is about the same price as the A7R2 is going to be. So both of these cameras are cheaper than the 5DS, which is a $3,600 camera, $3,800 if you want the R, and yet they're losing out.
It must be a good camera if it costs that much.
No. We're looking at the scores. You're fooling the people who are listening in their cars right now. Guys, we are looking at scores. Let me remind you. 97 for Nikon, 95 for A7, 87
so
for Canon.
Yeah, definitely based on this entity's evaluation of their sensors, it is crap.
Well, essentially, what does the title say? It says the 5DS sensor is far behind. So what does that mean? How long have they been developing this sensor? Did they use that great of a team to develop it? Has it been taking years to develop, and it's been taking them forever to get it to market? Because, I mean, essentially, these cameras are a year old, and they're beating a camera that just came out, and they're about to replace these models with new ones, and that's what we've been talking about. I was talking about in my argument how all these other manufacturers are coming out in flurries with new models, and they're just keeping up with the times, and yet Canon's releasing sensors that are basically a year or two old and not even as good as the competition at that same age.
Yeah, I don't understand those numbers. That's kind of weird.
Canon's falling behind. They're resting on their laurels, so to speak. I mean, they were winning for so long, and I was a fan. You were a fan. I mean, you're not a fan anymore, no way. Anyways, okay, so that's that. I'm interested to see what the A7R2 score is actually going to be, because this goes over 100. So
people say it will be over 100.
maybe we'll revisit this. I'll go ahead and take a photo of this just so I can remind myself to revisit this in August when the A7R2 comes out in a month, so that we can see if it gets above 100. I'm sure that it's going to get somewhere near 110. Honestly, they're talking pretty crazy about especially these things like color depth, dynamic range, and ISO, are all going to be so much better that it's just going to boost up. Now, the one thing that's not on here is megapixel count. So the megapixels is obviously far higher in the 5DS. It's currently the highest. It's like 50 plus.
Oh yeah.
But I saw this thing where it was like the 5DS and the 5DR, 5DSR, or whatever they call it, which are the $200 more one for the R. They're actually not that much different. If you look at the like a breakdown like this, they're all they're basically the same sensor essentially, and then there's a couple more maybe ergonomic features and stuff. And it's like, what are they doing? Why are they releasing two of the exact same camera with the exact same sensor and just having a little bit of features? Like with the A7 or the A7R with the A7S, you have very distinct sensors that are all different and used for different things. So you could technically have all three and use them for different things. I mean, I don't know what Canon's doing. And this is not going to be good for video, especially compared to the A7R2, which doesn't even record 4K. Are you kidding me? They're releasing a camera in 2015 that doesn't shoot 4K? What? The little RX 100 Mark IV records 4K. GoPros record 4K. Like, it's pretty...
Well, you know, at Canon, we don't cater to videographers. We're not going to cripple our photographers.
Which brings me to my next segment, my next point. So this video came out. I'll play it a little bit. It was basically a 10 years of the 5D. Because the 5D... So the 5D came out in 2015. Or, sorry, 2005. The 5D one, and then the 5D Mark II, which is what I got, came out in 2008, and then the 5D Mark III came out in 2012, and now it's rumored that the 5D Mark IV will come out either later this year or next year. So every like 4 years they're updating this line, and this has been their big line. Like this is their full frame. This was their first full frame camera line, and then they came out with the 1D and the 1DX, and probably the 1DX Mark II soon. So let's play a little bit of that video, but rest assured, I will tell you, there was no actual video in this video. It was all time lapses and pictures and still images being zoomed in on. They didn't actually take their cameras, their 5Ds, which were made famous by the fact that they were full frame and recorded full HD video. They didn't actually record video with them. They just took pictures and showed like, oh yeah, this is cool. So in their own promo video of the camera that made them like now infamous for the fact that they catered, that it worked for videographers, they don't even acknowledge or give a nod to the videographers. There's no video in here to show that it's not just a picture camera, it's a video camera as well. It's like their whole mindset about their cameras is just completely off. It makes no sense to me. Explain. Canon fanboy.
You know why, Aaron? Because this.
That is not appropriate. That is not appropriate.
I just flipped him off.
Yeah. But come on, seriously. Like when I saw this, I was like, I had to rewatch it because I was like, did they not use a single one of the like the 5D Mark III or at least something to record a video and then splice that in like a slider shot or something of one of their cameras? It was all time lapses, all photos. It was just like they basically are ashamed of the fact that they added a video feature to their 5D, which made everybody buy it to begin with. Everybody bought the 5D Mark II and then the 5D Mark III because of the video, not because of the pictures. If you were buying it for just pictures, you got the 1D. So, I mean, it's pretty eye-opening, I would say. And I don't know if anybody else noticed it. I just happened to see this video on Canon Rumors, and I was like, huh, that's kind of weird that they're not even acknowledging that they can record video with a video about the 5D and the last 10 years of the 5D.
Yeah, maybe they just want to focus on pictures.
You have nothing for me. There's no.
No, I mean, like, obviously I'm not in with their little team or whatever, but like, Canon is like a photography camera. Like when you see, like when a normal person sees cameras like this, they don't think it takes video.
But why don't you put all your eggs in the basket? Like why would you limit yourself to only the photographers? Why are they so against being a hybrid? Like why not be able to have people from photography and videography? Like that's such a bigger market. Like I said, guess what? Videographers have much higher budgets because you get much more money for making movies. So they're going to spend more money on lenses, they're going to buy more lenses, they're going to buy more, buy the newest and greatest cameras. Like why aren't you catering? And like their whole stance has been, nope, the 5D is for photographers and for maybe photojournalists who need to take a quick video. Like clearly it's not. Clearly people have made feature films with the 5D. So why are they ignoring that fact? Sony and Panasonic are embracing that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it definitely does seem counterintuitive from where I'm sitting. My personal feeling or thought on it is that it's run by a bunch of old fogies who are just obsessed and circle jerking over the prestige and the whatever established thing of Canon, and first and foremost Canon photo. So they're just like these little hipster video people who can just go do whatever.
And we'll see how that works out for them. Because apparently their photo cameras aren't even keeping up with Sony and Nikon.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Like you figure it at least excel in photography if they're going to be focusing on that. But like when you have numbers like that where the sensor doesn't even stand up to these cameras that are a year old for a camera that you're coming out right now, like why would you even buy the camera when it costs that much more? Like it's just.
Well, like the interesting comparison for me it's like interesting to compare, like if we're talking about computer chips, Intel and AMD.
Uh-huh.
I remember back in high school, everybody had AMD. Everybody was getting AMD. It was like much cheaper and they were way faster and they were pretty decently good. And then they kind of they maybe tried to make a little bit more profit, and they did less R&D, and things started to blue screen. I mean, the last AMD chip I ever bought was like an X2 or something, a 64-bit, and it was just blue screen all the time. So Intel is technically like the Canon, the one that always stayed on top. But now it's a bad analogy because Intel is still on top and it's still getting way better, and I don't know if AMD will ever catch it. But was Canon on top for too long, and they just rested on their laurels. They didn't put enough money into the R&D, and they were trying to maybe squeeze a little bit too much profit out of what they were making rather than innovating. Because guess what? If you're not first, you're trying harder. Like if you're first, it's hard to keep running to that finish line. So I don't know what their mindset is, but the fact that videos like this that are celebrating the camera that made them famous on the DSLR market for video, and they don't even acknowledge the fact that they record video is pretty insane to me.
Yeah, like can we get the CEO on here or something?
Yeah, let's phone him in real quick. He's actually on the line. He only speaks Japanese, so we're gonna have to translate that. Actually, I'm not even sure if that's true. But all right. So moving on, we're gonna play the fourth installment of Do You Even Film, Bro? And since it's the fourth installment, I was trying to figure out your score. I believe you are 9 out of 15, correct?
No, that does not sound right.
It is right because we did 5 each time, and I believe you missed 6. So you were 9 correct, 6 wrong.
Dude, that sounds horrible.
Do you want? I'll give you 11 and 4. I'll give you 11 and 4. I don't remember.
Okay.
I was trying to remember. So I'll give you 11 and 4. I think you did pretty bad last time, though. I think before you had like barely any, like maybe 1 or 2 wrong, but.
Okay.
I'll do 11 and 4. I think it was actually. Technically, we've done 16, but I'm going to discount the 16. So we're even now. So I've done these to try to get you to miss. Okay? So these are film terms that all of these film terms I knew. I knew when I looked at them, I'm like, okay, I know what that is. I'm going to see if you know. And I put in either true or false definitions or multiple choice or, descriptions, stuff like that to see if you can get them right.
Okay.
Feel free to play along on Twitter if you're watching this live, which you can't be because I edit this. Okay. Number 1. Day for night shot. Definition: day shot, shot at night.
Day for night shot. Definition. Day shot shot at night.
Is a shot at night, but it's used as a day shot within the mise en scène or within the story.
False.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, because how can you use a night shot for a day shot? Maybe you use the day shot for a night shot.
So this is commonly
like Mad Max.
I don't have a good example off the top of my head for this, but for instance, this movie called Silent House, which had Elizabeth Olsen in it. Mm-hmm. It was one of those. It was a movie that it was like a 90-minute movie, and it makes it look like it's all in one take. And they were actually filming with a kind of DSLR hybrid camera, so it could actually, at the time back in 2011, could only record for 12 minutes at a time. So they used shadows and stuff to hide the cuts. But when I watched that movie, I kind of thought to myself, man, like how it looks like this was done on a low budget on a DSLR. Like how does everything look so nice? Like why is the skin tones and everything like bright enough when it needs to be? And the answer is, considering it was like a really dark house and like there's a lot of shadows and everything, the answer is they overlight everything. You look at the behind the scenes footage, there is no shadows or darkness. That's all added in post. So they essentially just shoot it as bright as they can, and then they bring it down. Because in cameras, that's the easiest thing to do. Because if you do the opposite of that, what do you get? If you shoot really dark and then you try to bring it up, you get a lot of noise. If you shoot really bright and bring it down, as long as you don't overexpose and you can retain those highlights, then you can just add and like really, really crush the blacks and stuff and hit that kind of look. So that's when I think of day for night, I think of shooting with more light than what's going to actually be what it's going to look like. So in your head, you're shooting with light, so maybe you don't have to actually have lights. You could shoot out in the daytime and then turn it like a little grayish and make it look like night. It doesn't always work perfectly, but like in the situation I was saying where you're just really, really overlighting something with in mind that you're going to correct that in post.
I don't know if it's the exact same thing, but I think they did that kind of in Mad Max. Like those night scenes is actually day, and they just
No, it's super obvious in Mad Max. That's what I'm talking. You get that kind of bluish, kind of almost like black and white feel with like a blue tint. So it is a little obvious when they do it. I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's day for night. Yeah. All right, moving on. Deep focus shot. True or false? Used to draw focus to an object / subject. So far, he's 1 for 1, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Just answer.
True.
False.
Oh my, dude! I was about to say false because my first initial reaction was true, and you're saying you're making these so I can lose. Dang it! Go ahead, tell me.
Do you know why? It's essentially the opposite of that. So a deep focus shot means that everything's in focus. So if you think Citizen Kane, we actually made fun of this on the 4th episode of FilmIn5D where Will was playing in the background and he was like, oh no, you were playing in the background, jumping outside, and through the window we could see you playing out there.
Oh yeah.
You don't remember?
No, I do remember that because
okay.
I had like a can or something.
So deep focus means that everything's in focus, so that you might be looking at this, but then whoa, what the hell's going on over there? And you it's kind of like Citizen Kane with the little kid playing out with his rosebud, which was his sleigh or whatever. Like maybe that. So obviously, shallow focus would like bring your attention to one specific object. Deep focus is like this is everything's game. Like you could be looking at anything in the frame.
Dude,
it's a little bit chaotic.
I knew that. If I would have thought of shallow focus, I would.
Well, that's why I did it.
Evil.
Okay, Deus Ex Machina is A. I'm giving you examples from film. A. Bruce Willis realizing he is dead in The Sixth Sense. Hopefully you've seen these movies. B.
Spoiler.
Rohan Calvary arriving last minute to Minas Tirith in the third Lord of the Rings. C. In Unbreakable when Samuel L. Jackson ends up being Mr. Glass, a.k.a. the antagonist, when the whole movie you thought he was the good guy. Or D. all of the above?
Uh,
Deus Ex Machina.
Gosh dang it. You know, this is weird because obviously it's a very common term.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's supposed to be like an act of God or something like that. So it's something kind of just like, wow. So, I mean, I'm thinking like it seems to me that A and C are kind of just like plot things. Like that was just something that was there. But then B is like they just happened to come at the right time. So I'm going to say B.
Yeah, B is, yep, correct.
Okay.
Another one from that exact same thing was when Aragorn jumps off the boat and all the dead people just come. It's like, yeah, Deus Ex. It's like a very cliche thing, like, oh, yep, sure, last minute, 11th hour, here they come. Like, it would never happen in real life. It was just like, that's just perfect timing every time. Yeah, yes, it's an act of God. So Deus is actually like, I think in Latin or something like that for like an act of God. And then the Machina is like, there's a vessel. There's like all the horses, the whole thing, or the boat with all the dead army. Like so, those would be the vessels, the Machina, the machine, I guess. So there you go. I didn't actually know that definition of it, but I knew it does. Deus Ex Machina was like super cliche, like last minute save. So you got that one right. So you're 2 for 3. Director's cut. Give me the definition in your mind of a director's cut.
It is. Oh no.
You just have to give me the definition.
I would say the
A good example is the director's cut of Blade Runner, which we talked about last episode.
I would say it's not necessarily like a complete uncut version of the movie, but it's like a version of the movie with stuff put in it as how the director envisioned it.
Okay, and that's half of it. You got to give me a little bit more of what part of the process. Like you kind of said rough, but what part of the where does that fall in line in terms of the what you see in theaters? So if what you see in theaters is the producer's cut, I essentially just gave it away.
The director's cut is something that's like in the process of making the movie. So like the director's like I don't know, does the director's cut always exist for movies, but then we don't ever see it because it's just
You usually see it on DVD special edition stuff like that.
Yeah, like so does like the director create it and they're like, here, let's look at this, and then somebody else is like, okay, let me take that and butcher it even more, and then bloop.
That is exactly what a director's cut is. So more often than not, try to watch the director's cut of a movie. I believe I've shown you most movies with the director's cut, just because the production company is all about getting to a certain time where they think it's going to make the most money. It's a very precise like thing where, oh man, this movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes. We got to get it to like 1:45. So we're going to cut it down based on like the pacing and everything else. And sometimes it does make it better. Sometimes like Peter Jackson comes out with the special editions of Lord of the Rings and it's like there's 45 minutes of extra footage. Like, come on, like some of that stuff could have been cut out. As a fan, I enjoy to see the extra scenes, but in terms of the pacing of the movie, sometimes it does slow down. But a movie like Blade Runner and Ridley Scott, you know, it's a little different. Like it's going to include stuff that basically alludes to the fact that he might be a replicant and stuff that's just not in the non-director's cut. That's why you want to watch the director's cut, so you get that kind of like at the end feeling like, is he a replicant? Anyways, last one. So I'm giving you that one. That was 3 for 4.
Yes.
Dynamic frame.
You.
Explain what you think that is.
Okay. Well, going off of what I learned from watching The Frame, from what I hear is a good movie.
We did a review of it on episode 1.
Yeah, I would assume like, okay, like if it had a static frame or something like that, it'd just be like, I don't know, stuck in place or something. But like a dynamic frame might like move around the scene or something, or like it'd be more interesting.
In terms of the frame was a good example of what a dynamic frame means, where it's essentially kind of influencing like the movement of the characters, or not necessarily forcing them to move like in the frame. Trying to avoid spoilers right now, but it's like a dynamic frame. Think about like back in the day when someone would leave through a door, it would go whoop, and then whoop when they came back into the frame and like through another door.
Yeah.
That's a dynamic frame. So I'll give it to you because yes, it does move and influence the movement of the actors and stuff like that.
Cool.
All right, 4 for 5. So that brings our grand total up to 15 for 20.
That's okay.
That's a 75% C. So you're getting up there. You recovered a little bit. I think you were at a D plus before. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. That's good. All right. So you're going to talk about lighting stuff for whatever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like the technology I'm talking about, it's I believe it's called light field technology. It's not something that is new. Unfortunately, I haven't done like a ton of research on this, so I'm not totally sure how this limits the sensors, the cameras, or how, what kind of picture quality you can get from it. It's been around a while. I don't think it's really being utilized right now because I think the technology is kind of limited. But essentially what it is, like how you have, say if you were to take a picture and you have that raw photo and then you can, I don't know, change the white balance or whatever in post. Just imagine if you were to take a picture and you were able to change the focus in post. So basically what the this light field technology is doing is it's taking out all the information you can, basically, or as much information as you can from the light, so that you can just go back to the phone and be like, okay, and actually change the focus, not just like blurring stuff out. Like it's literally focusing through the photo.
Is this a correctional thing, or is this you shoot everything wide, deep focus, and then you kind of set your focus later? Because I can't imagine if you like left the background out of focus, how you'd possibly be able to recover that, blurry bokeh-ness into a sharp image. Like it just doesn't seem like that would be the case. Seems like you would have to shoot in a deep focus.
Yeah, I would imagine that it is basically you're always shooting in deep focus. I'm not sure how useful it would be to like professional photography. Like I guess if you're taking pictures really quickly, you could just like mass shoot them or something. But I think this would be something that would be really nice for consumers, like just regular people. Like how easy does that get? You sit there, and you just take photos and you can just change whatever. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean it seems like it would be a nice thing to include within. I could see like the iPhone 7S, 3 years from now having something like that where it's like, oh, and you missed your focus and boop boop. Actually, I've already seen. There's already cameras out there that they're being advertised. Like, it's a camera phone thing, basically, is what I'm thinking. But
yeah, but
I've definitely seen this. Like, I know what this is, and I've definitely seen it advertised on cameras that exist currently.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like the same light field technology though. Like, I feel like it might just be. I don't know. But I just imagine this like being applied to video cameras and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty interesting because you kind of essentially take out that element of hitting the focus points and all that kind of stuff, like on the fly. Like you can just sit there, record, make sure everything's in frame or whatever, and then you can change the focus just exactly how.
Well, when you say record, I mean, are we going to track somebody's face in post and try to like keep them in focus when you might as well just do it live or use autofocus?
Yeah, I guess that's true. So there are some caveats, but I definitely think it has some benefits.
Yeah. Possibly. It's just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I could see that this would be useful in some situations, but it's like, man, you just want to hit that focus while you're doing it. It's just like one of the things like, exposure, you want to get somewhere near it. You might not have to have it perfect. You can dial it in post. Same with white balance. Obviously, you can change anything like that in post, saturation, all that stuff. But for something like focus, like I feel like you have to do that live because the digital camera sensor is only going to be able to guess essentially. Like, I mean, yeah, I can use algorithms in these light beam technology, whatever, light field technology, but a little skeptical on like what the processing would be.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
sharpness.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying earlier. Like I I see this more of like a consumer technology type thing, because I do feel like when you're sitting there and looking at the picture and trying to imagine, the final product, it's important for you to be able to see actually what the shot is going to look like.
Yeah.
So like being able to actually see the focus, and everything like that gives you a better idea of like the feel and
Yeah.
everything.
So, I mean, based on the description that you're giving, what I've heard,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, I'm just saying that you're essentially shooting deep focus the whole time, which obviously means you're not shooting like wide open. You can't really shoot in low light like that. Yeah, you can really pin down and maybe make it as shallow as you want, which might be cool if you don't have access, or maybe this can be so shallow that it's even more shallow than a full frame camera at f1. Like maybe it could even get more shallower than that, and then you get a really cool effect that way. That would be cool if we could do that, but it would definitely be only for shooting outdoors and only certain situations. So
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's some things that are holding it back, because I would imagine it'd be pretty popular otherwise.
yeah.
I think you probably need a pretty big,
I felt like they had this on a smartphone.
I feel like that stuff on smartphones isn't like the actual light field technology.
Yeah, it's just like a quick turnaround version of it that's
Yeah.
not 100% ready, but can work in very limited situations or something. I remember I saw it might have been like a Windows Phone or something, because nobody cares about those. And we could fight about Samsung versus Apple all day, but Windows isn't even invited to the party, basically. Even though they are coming out with Windows 10, July 27th, I think. We talked about this. All right, enough about that. We have about 10 more minutes for our final topic, which is Comic-Con,
Comic-Con.
which we are both possibly going to this weekend here in San Diego. Any rumors, announcements? What's going on? What are you going there for? Or
Oh, wait, first of all, did you get tickets for it?
I didn't get tickets for it, but I have potential access for some of the things, some of the panels, especially tomorrow, possibly.
What? Dude, if you're going to try to get into a panel, it's going to be like ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't want to go to like one of the popular ones. I mean, the Game of Thrones one happened today. I believe the Star Wars ones also happened today. I mean, obviously, we're looking here at IGN. They have a couple of things.
Yeah, see, I mean, the thing is, yeah, I want to go, but I don't have a pass because they're impossible to get. Like, it's ridiculous.
They're not impossible. You just waited too long.
No. This is the second year I've tried to get one. Like, basically, if you already have a pass, you can just buy a pass the next time. So I don't have a pass. I haven't had a pass, so I need to buy in. But in order to buy in, there's only a certain limited amount, and you basically get in digital line, and then they randomly give people.
It sounds like Coachella.
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
Did you try like on day one to get them?
Oh yeah. I sat there and I waited until the specific time when it opened, and I sat there, and then it closed, and I was sad. Yeah, it's rough.
That's crazy that they're able to sell them that quickly, and then it happens here in San Diego.
Yeah, no. Like, if you tried to get the tickets from like scalpers, I saw, like, I don't know if this is the average price, but I saw one like a 4-day pass being sold for about $1,400.
That's not worth it.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, it
How
sucks.
much are they if you just get them? If you get into the line?
It's funny because I don't even know, because I've never even seen it. It sucks. It's that elusive, man.
I mean, I went last year. Like, I didn't go for the whole thing, but I went for a day and I walked around. And I felt a little out of place there. Like, I do like to go see some of the things, but everybody's dressed up, man. I don't do that. You do that, but Colton does the dressing up thing.
Yeah,
but I don't.
like this is
whatever.
Steven Universe.
I don't do it. I don't even know what I would go as. I'd go as something ironic and funny. Like, I couldn't dress up in an actual costume.
Should be like Boba Fett or something from Star Wars.
What I want to do is, like, I like to go to see if I could figure out like where the celebrity's hiding. Like, there's ones that are just like meandering around, like with masks on or like a hoodie or something. Like, I just want to like call them out and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, but I mean, you don't even have to dress up to go. Like, there's like, I don't know. I'd say maybe like 30% at most of people are dressed up there. Like,
Well, the problem is only 10% of the stuff I give a shit about.
Like, I mean, I'm just not a comic book, guy. So I like what I like. Like, I would have enjoyed to see the Star Wars and the Game of Thrones and the Ghostbusters, and I don't know what else was scheduled for today specifically, but oh my gosh, what is this?
What?
Firefly star Alan Tudyk, which is this guy, says show could return.
Oh my gosh, I don't watch it, so I don't care.
What, you never saw it?
No, but I always hear people like rave about it.
Did you see Serenity?
No.
Oh
Yeah, people
my
are always like, oh my gosh,
gosh.
like it canceled. When is it coming? Like, no. Yeah.
It was actually, yeah, it was one of those shows. It was just before its time.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like The Office came out at the perfect time, but Arrested Development came out 2 years earlier, and it was essentially the same thing, but nobody gave a shit, and so it got canceled. And I remember it was like super meta in the third season. Basically, it was 8 episodes out of 16, and they were talking about how the show was getting canceled in the show, and it was really funny. Firefly was the same way. It was only like 10 episodes. It was basically like a Western in space. I'm sure you've heard all the things.
Yeah, yeah.
They did a movie. I mean, but they only had 1 season though. And obviously, the guy from
Nathan
Castle, Nathan Fillion, he's obviously got his own show now. Like, he's doing really well. So it's kind of sad. That'd be pretty cool. But any other rumors you hear about going on? Any announcements?
Yeah, well, one second. I think they should just try and hit up Netflix or something. Like, isn't that the way to go nowadays?
I think so. Like, I'm loving all these shows coming back on Netflix and Hulu Plus, and I just got Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I got the trial because it's about to be Prime Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
But honestly, I ordered something. This is a little off topic, but I ordered something on Sunday. It's supposed to come on Tuesday. It still says shipping. Like, it's not. It doesn't. There's no updates. Last update was Monday. It's Friday now, and this is not a good trial. Like, they're not really wanting me to give them my money because
Something. What did you order? What?
it was just like these little like ice trays things like that I saw at the Del Mar Fair when I went.
Wait, was it eligible for Prime?
Yes.
That's weird because like all my stuff always gets shipped.
It very obviously looks like it got lost in the shuffle, and then they're probably trying to scramble to find it or something. And obviously, it's out of their hands at this point. But obviously, Amazon has. I'm saying obviously a lot. Amazon has deals with these shipping companies, so they're usually on point about it. But it's not looking very good for them.
Yeah, that's extremely interesting because I've ordered a lot of stuff on Prime and it gets to me like extremely quickly, like at least within 2 days. Like sometimes it's 1 day when I don't even get 1 day.
I could see if it was like a big thing, but this is just like probably a box, like probably going to be this big, not heavy at all, and it got lost in the shuffle somewhere. I don't know where they shipped it from. Because the thing is, usually they ship it within state, and they're shipping it from their facility that they have in stock if it's in Prime. All right. So any rumors?
Yeah, it's interesting because Comic-Con's become so popular. Obviously, like all these like movies and super crazy popular things go there to, get their stuff out.
Which wasn't the case like even 5 years ago.
Oh yeah. It's just a totally different beast now. But for me, usually I don't really follow like new things or anything like that, like super crazy. So I'm not that hyped about anything being announced that's popular at Comic-Con. But the one thing I am about is Steven Universe.
I don't, dude. No.
Yeah, dude. They just announced some pretty crazy stuff. If you like the show, you gotta check it out. But yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I told you. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what comes out. I'm hoping they release a few trailers. One specifically that I was looking forward to was obviously another Star Wars trailer if they do that, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's about time. Like, we're under the 6-month mark now. We got about 5 months before the movie gets released. So you think there'd be like an actual trailer that's going to actually show what the plot's going to be about?
Yeah, and just spoiled the whole movie, right?
Yeah, it's
nice.
I think he's keeping it pretty close to the vest on this one. I don't think anything's gonna spoil the movie. I think
I think what's going to get revealed is more clearly who the characters are and who they are related to previous characters, and that's going to cause all this crazy like rumors. Because obviously, I have who I think is. I think I already know who's who for the most part, and like who and how it's going to progress. But those are just guesses right now. It might be confirmed by the next trailer for me. If that happens, then I'll know what's going to happen, or at least who the characters are, not necessarily how it's going to unfold, because they're not going off of any of the books.
I know.
They've actually been releasing all these other new books. Have you been reading them? They've been doing these prequel books and these like between episode 3 and 4 books, and that are all now canon, like officially.
Yeah, I've always seen a lot of expanded universe stuff for Star Wars. I never really
that all
looked
got
into it,
canceled
though.
out, basically.
Oh.
Yeah. 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 I don't want to talk about it because it could potentially be spoilers, but I do know a few things about, let's just say, Han Solo and Leia's offspring. Have a key.
They do it.
part.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Who would have known? And yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, can we do like a live broadcast when we go see Star Wars?
We should go and wait in line. Did you go for the last one, episode 3 in 2005?
No, I haven't been to the premiere of any Star Wars.
We should get some people together and we should go, and then we should take the FilmIn5D microphone around and like interview people. Like, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a nerd are you? Go.
Yeah.
It isn't an experience, man. Like, I get a little uncomfortable in those situations where people are really nerding out. But when I was sitting there, it was just funny to watch the people like doing lightsaber battles in the front row before, like, because we all sat down like an hour before the movie started, you know, at like 11 p.m. or whatever, and people were just duking it out. And like before, when you're waiting in line outside, like obviously where we live, there's a big theater, so a lot of the people kind of congregate there. It's one of the biggest theaters in all of San Diego. So, and there was just a line of stormtroopers with Darth Vader leading them, and then Anakin walked in front of them. They stopped and looked at each other, and it was just like this crazy thing. So that'll be fun. But yeah, we'll talk about that more. Hopefully, there's a trailer that comes out. It says there's a Fear the Walking Dead trailer revealed. Oh no, they're doing
Fear
this.
the Walking Dead. What's that?
I think it's the spinoff for LA.
What?
I don't even want to. I'm so done with The Walking Dead at this
Really?
point. Yeah,
Wow.
I think
thought
this
you
might
loved
be
that
might be
show.
my last season coming up.
What?
So we are at an hour, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, I guess we'll give some updates 2 weeks from now about what happened at Comic-Con for you,
Yeah.
and if I ended up going, running from zombies or whatever.
I know. I wonder if they're gonna get hit by a car this year.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, see you guys next time. Actually, wait,
Oh.
I totally forgot to plug everything.
Oh.
Like this video, please, on YouTube, and leave a comment, and send us an @mention on Twitter. We are over 3,000 followers on Twitter officially this week. I believe a couple days ago. And please, please, please go to iTunes, download our podcast, rate, comment, and subscribe,
Yes.
because we have none of that right now. We have like very limited things on iTunes. So the whole point of this was to have accessibility to iTunes. So if you're watching on YouTube, please go download. Anything else?
No.
All right. Live long and prosper.
Star Wars, baby.